The Noble Truth of Buddhism. Introduction. One of the religions I've most enjoyed studying has been Buddhism. This religion interested me because of its unique aspects which make it different from many other popular religions to the point that its very status as a religion has been debated and called into question. These features include its emphasis on suffering, its lack of reliance on traditional spirituality, and the logical structure of the Four Noble Truths. This uniqueness has contributed to the way Buddhism's concepts have become increasingly influential within the collective consciousness of Western society. The initial goal of Buddhism and its founder, the Buddha, is one that is simple enough for any person to understand and appreciate: to do away with human suffering. History. Sometime around the 5th century BCE, Prince Siddhartha Gautama had a life-changing and ultimately world-changing revelation. Being that he was sheltered from the outside world for the majority of his early life, Siddhartha took a trip outside his palace's walls. What he encountered on this trip were several eye-opening experiences which informed him of the general kinds of suffering that people all over the world contend with. This experience inspired Siddhartha to leave all that he knew behind in order to search for a means to overcome that suffering. After meditating under the Bodhi tree for an extended period, some accounts suggest as long as 49 days, the Buddha emerged an awakened being with knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths he discovered are: life is suffering, the cause of suffering is craving, the end of suffering comes with an end to craving, and there is a path which leads one away from craving and suffering. The Buddha's travels also informed his acceptance of what he called the middle way. This is an understanding that the extremes of either indulgent excess or extreme asceticism both lead to suffering, and thus one must pursue the middle path between them in order to truly avoid crossing that line. By taking the middle way and embracing the Four Noble Truths, one can accept the impermanence of suffering and ultimately reach enlightenment. Following the Buddha's passing, his teachings spread even further than ever before. Buddhism arose initially in Siddhartha Gautama's home of India. However, following his death, his ministry spread and the message of Buddhism expanded throughout Asia. Fast forwarding to today, Buddhism is practiced by over 500 million people and is the 4th largest religion in the world. Beliefs and practices. Buddhism's main beliefs were originally oriented around the Buddha's teachings on the means to escape the cycle of suffering inherent in all human life. However, Buddhism has changed since his time and expanded to include many other facets of traditional religious beliefs such as the nature of gods and the occurrences of beings in the afterlife. The nature of God in Buddhism is viewed differently between Buddhist sects. The main mission of Buddhism was not to worship any specific god, but only to understand the nature of human suffering and how to escape from the cycle that perpetuates it. However, it is generally allowed that most Buddhists believe in numerous deities or Buddhas who have achieved the path of enlightenment. Additionally, there are numerous deities that Buddhists are thought to encounter while undergoing meditation. Some of these deities are wrathful demons who act as obstacles on the individual's path to nirvana, while other deities act as guiding lights and even helpers. Aside from the Four Noble Truths, Buddhists follow other spiritual doctrines such as the belief in karma as expressed in the Hindu tradition, as well as the merit system. Buddhist monks live in relative poverty and solely focusing on meditation, prayer, and charity. The practice of meditation differs according to different Buddhist sects, though it is always a manner of seeking self-knowledge and enlightenment through introspection and quiet contemplation. For those not willing to take the leap into asceticism and consistent meditative practice, another method of gaining karma for Buddhists is through donating to the cause of others via the merit system. Merit is gained by those who give charitably to help ensure that they have a greater chance of reaching enlightenment in the future. After death, Buddhists have a distinct set of beliefs that trace what occurs to the individual following the loss of physical life. These beliefs include reincarnation, samsara, and nirvana. Samsara is the cycle of rebirth and reincarnation that all souls are trapped within. This includes all the suffering that comes with life and is the result of the accumulation of karma throughout life. Through following the path of the Buddha and the Four Noble Truths, Buddhists hope to achieve enlightenment and nirvana, the escape from samsara. Buddhist monks and followers attend temples and monasteries in practice of their traditional rituals, many of which is retained by donations enacted by the merit system and other forms of charity. Contemporary application. Buddhism was a religion that was created with the goal of healing the suffering of all peoples, and that mission hasn't changed for modern Buddhist practitioners. Buddhism is a missionary religion, and Buddhist monks and followers take an active role in helping people who need it the most. Aside from more active efforts, Buddhists also use their practice to help others in a psychological sense. Buddhist meditation has even been proven to have positive cognitive effects on those that practice it, with proven impact on different areas of the autonomic system depending on the method of meditation used. Ever since the Jesuit missionaries first began encountering Buddhism in 1700, the mystery of the Buddha and his teachings began to excite people on the Western world. Today, Buddhism has a large influence on contemporary American spirituality, and it is only growing in popularity. However, despite the growth and interest in Buddhist ideas in America and all over the world, the population of actual Buddhists in the world has been projected to decline. A large part of this decline is due to lower fertility rates in families that identify as Buddhist in relation to other religions, meaning that Buddhist families are expected to decrease as a population in the future. Conclusion. Buddhism is more than just a religious practice. It provides a set of beliefs which can be applied to help people in the worst conditions understand their feelings of pain better in order to confront and overcome them. The desire to find an end to human suffering is not one that Siddhartha Gautama arrived upon in a vacuum. It is a fundamental feeling that all human beings have. It is a desire to end all pain. The Buddha's great insight was that it is often that very desire to end pain which is the cause of even greater suffering. To live is to suffer, and to embrace life is to embrace that suffering. Buddhism teaches its followers to embrace life in the deepest way and to deal with the natural suffering that is so deeply ingrained into the experience of all human beings.